Yo, what's good? It's been on fire here, back from a video. And today we're going to be hopping into one of the best offenses to use in Madden 26. Today I'm going to be going over the gun trips tight end flex offense, which is one of the best ones from last year. It is very, very good again this year. I'm going to show you guys the way I like to run it, the setups that I enjoy doing, and how to make this into one of the better offenses in the game. Now, this is already pretty popular. I'm going to show you guys my twist on it. I'm not taking these plays from anywhere. I'm just going to kind of run it similar to a trips tight end, but we're going to use some of those stock plays that make it a little bit better in ways than a trips tight end. So this is going to be in the Chicago Bears offensive playbook, which is definitely one of the better offensive playbooks in the game. Let me know if it's also in Eagles. Those are the two popular ones. Let me know if you guys want an ebook on Bears or Eagles. I'll probably put a poll up between those two and we'll make the ebook on which one probably does better. But drop it in the comments if you want that. But yeah, trips tight end flex, a lot to like here. Motion Y post is going to be our bread and butter. We'll work off of that play. Motion hitch and go is my other favorite play, just because we get that stock angle route. And obviously you can hot route angle routes, but other than that, your base inside zone, we have this Y out and up play, which kind of has a decent corner route. Verticals will be in the audibles. Tight end in is okay, but not in the audibles. And then the other play that's decent is Dagger on the right-hand side there. So the audibles, I like motion Y post, inside zone, verticals, motion hitch and go. I wish we had either a read option or like a 0-1 trap, but that's okay. We will start out in motion Y post. No real personnel changes. All I'm going to do is get my trips on the wide side of the field usually. If you guys are new to the channel, please make sure you hit that like button, subscribe to the channel down below. It's the best way to show support. Make sure you guys check out the website for all ebooks. That link will be first in the description. And let me know what videos you guys want to see next, specifically Madden-wise. I got to do my stick work video and a few other things. But yeah, taking a look here, there's definitely a lot to like with this play. The first thing that I like, and I think I'm actually going to go grab another controller real quick, just because what I want to do is alright, so I have that other controller. It'll take effect after this play, but the first route I like is DJ Moore on that outside fade. Now, the reason that route is going to be good is just press man-to-man coverage, very good clear out for zones. So if we end up getting Cole Kmet to get across the sideline, if we get enough time for that, then he's going to get open. And then Luther Burden on that reverse zig or return route is very good because, again, if we hot route Y on a return, it looks like this, and it is way, 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 way worse against man coverage from what I've tried. So the first setup that I run is to smart out A and slant B. Now, B is on that kind of motion streak, which can be decent against man coverage, but it's not my favorite. So first setup here, boom, would be a simple man beater. Now, obviously, if I knew it was man coverage, I probably wouldn't send DeAndre Swift on the table route because that's not going to do us any good against man coverage. Here, again, is like a heavy press look, and I'm just going to run the same setup for video's sake. But the other route that you hope should beat man coverage would be this route. Now, we have our worst receiver in that spot, so I'm not sure how it will be, but let's get some normal defenses so we get some consistency and I at least know what I'm running. But I'm going to start out with man and we're going to press. And I want you to watch DJ Moore, hopefully over there, can do some stuff for us and get open. So hopefully he gets off the fade well. It looks like he does. And yeah, that's how that fade should work. You should have hopefully enough separation. We're going against Mike Hughes over there, so we do have the matchup advantage. Should get enough separation to be able to fade that over the top if you would like. In that case, we are able to bullet it, which is just going to be even quicker if you have to, but obviously either works. So that is going to be good. Now, Luther Burden, again, should be hopefully good against man and zone. But here's a look. What really opens up is this slant immediately. He's going to just simply have to user that. Now, that slant is going to be our first read most of the time. If for whatever reason he's not on that, then we will throw it. Let's say he defends it. He will a lot of times use the slant, but he shouldn't be able to get the slant and the post. Otherwise, you can hit the slant late, or you can wait on the post. And then Luther Burden should be open like 90% of the time against zone coverage because you can hit him in this window, and then he can actually go vertically and usually pick up 15 yards based on the rack that he gets from that. So that is very solid. So this is just a good first combo. Let's see if we can hit this post route, hopefully. Now, again, it does take a lot of time to develop, but you can hit it over the top like so. And again, I make sure I do smart out A to get him just a little bit deeper. I feel like he is just a little bit short. Now, if it was man coverage, him being short might help. But you see he's a little bit short against those zone coverage players. Now, a situation you could see is if he doesn't have extra yellow zones, if he only has his user, then that would be maybe where I don't smart out. But yeah, I like that setup. Other setups we can do, let's say we want to block a running back, we could just drag B and kind of run it simply like this. In this case, maybe I don't want to smart out A, but I still could. So again, our first read would hopefully just be just quick snap, throw that drag, and I could keep the slant there if I wanted to, but yeah, first read would be the drag. Let's say it's defended, then we can move on to those other routes. Again, Komet's going to be open kind of as he passes that left hash mark in that kind of window. Now, for whatever reason, I get freaking 0 time to ever pass the ball in this video game. So let's try QB spying every player on the field so I do get some time. But you would hit him like in this window, and he actually, again, what I was talking about earlier, kind of turns into a crosser because we have that fade. That's going to clear out everything over there. Now, the next way that we can run this setup is to go with kind of a wheel route setup. Now I'm going to respot the ball for this one. And I should be switching coverages more. I'll try and start doing that. And I will spend the most time on this play. Now, this is a situation where against cover 2, I think we actually have life here because of Odunze's route. He's going to get a little bit more space out there. Maybe streaking A is going to be what we want to do, but he kind of turns into a fade over there. So one thing that we can do with him is we can actually corner A, like custom stem him down one maybe, and then I would keep probably just the flat route and this other route. I don't know how the spacing works between this, but I think it works pretty well, hitting him on the sideline. Maybe you want to go down just one more, actually, but that's an idea. Now, that's not what I'm going to actually do, but that is an idea. I don't think he gets far enough width-wise. Maybe being on the short side is a little better, but what I like doing is putting RB on a wheel, and then I will put B on in route, and then I'll just kind of run it. I can smart out A still, and then I'll motion him across. And we'll snap the ball right about here, and this opens up our wheel route. So this is a popular trips tight end concept where you incorporate the motion. Of course, we can do this as well. Now, one thing with this is we can't block the tight end, which is a little bit unfortunate, but of course it's fine. And what I could do too, if I wanted to, is go with the flat instead. Dealer's choice on that one. So I'm going to always look wheel route for my first read. Let's say it's defended, then I can just simply move on to these other guys, Luther Burden or Komet. Now that post may be a little bit worse in the middle of the field because we are on the short side of the field with our trips. So if I was trying to hit Komet, I would probably use him as kind of a late read option, but I'll show this one more time. Let's say it's cover 2. So I'll switch to cover 2. This wouldn't be the great man coverage setup, but you see the wheel route still open. And then if we get enough time, hopefully he's able to get over the top there. He got kind of bumped a little bit, but overall, I am a fan of that setup. Now let's move back. Now another thing we can do using that fade route is go with a corner out option. So what I'll usually do is put B on a corner, and then I will custom stem it down once to get it a little bit shorter. And then we can run this play like so. So here we can now use Odunze as a corner route option. Boom. And he, again, gets a lot more open than most like street corner combos because we have that fade with DJ Moore, and that's the same fade that you'll see later out of verticals. Again, I custom stem him down 1 for spacing purposes. That was cover 3. Here's cover 2. Now, cover 2 is a little bit sucky because he gets pressed. DJ Moore gets pressed sometimes. So I want you guys to just be aware of that can happen. Man coverage, I would like this setup too because, again, if I knew it was man, I would block my running back or like maybe throw him on a wheel to try and beat man coverage, but I would maybe run it like this. DJ Moore is our first option. And then we have like corner out that should beat man. I mean, DJ Moore is open. Cole Kmet. He gets separation. Now be careful because he kind of runs a little bit vertically up the field, so I might have probably wanted to highball that. And the 3-rec hook matched it well. But yeah, that's another good setup for this play. Yeah, I'm trying to think of other ways I like to run it. Another thing we could maybe do is just go like B on the slant. I could just hitch B or hitch Y if I'd like. So I can just put him on a hitch instead, and he's going to kind of sit in that spot and space the field even better on that left side. So that's something you could do. I would like to hitch this B wide receiver, but I don't really have much to do with Y in that case. I guess I could corner route him over here, but so that's, that is an option to do. The spacing between the post and the corner route just isn't my favorite in that spot with him on the Y receiver, but that's an idea. So let's move into our next passing play, though. We spent a lot of time on this play, but understandably so, because that is probably our best option. The next play is going to be this motion hitch and go. Now this play is interesting. I only have a few setups I like with it, but the stock routes we get are just a post with X, angle route with RB. We get that kind of same vertical route. So we're mainly going to build around the post and the angle route. And this is going to be kind of our curl flat out of the trips tight end flex. Of course, curl flat is in the normal trips tight end. So with this play, I create a lot of just curl flat setups I like. So, kind of the stuff you can do is like drag B, I could corner A, and then with Y, I usually will throw them on like a return, or you could even put them on a hitch, whatever you'd like from here. I usually like the return. So, of course, this creates our simple reads between DeAndre Swift and that drag route. If he kind of overcommits to the drag or the running back, then we should have Luther Burden coming over late on that route. Komet, just kind of a good clear out option. This post, will you ever really hit the post? You kind of can, but 55 lurks it pretty well. He doesn't bite on the drag at all, coming from left to right. Now, if this player was on like a hitch and we had out route, this would be a good combo to kind of open up that post, if I'm not mistaken. So yeah, you can kind of hit the post now. A little bit late on my part there. So that's an idea of something to do. So the first setup again is just to drag B, corner A, return Y. Let's run it against Tampa 2. Again, we're really just looking for those kind of three routes and making the read based on that. Like, okay, he follows the angle route, then I'll just check it down to my drag. If he follows the drag, then I'll hit my angle route. If both are defended, maybe hard flats the right, and then lurks drag to angle, then I can hit the return on the backside. That should have at least enough space to get open. So that's one setup. Another kind of curl flat setup that you could recreate is B on a post, A on a drag, and then you could just go like Y on the flat. You could keep X on the post, or you could just put him on the curl route to create the true curl flat play. Dealer's choice, I'd say, but this is one of, again, solid combos, and you could really just recreate all of the curl flat setups. I could just go flat Y, curl X, drag B, corner A. I could create curl flat like this. Again, I tend to prefer this setup the best. Drag A, angle RB, because I think it's easier to make the read. So, again, you would just pretty much hit the player that he doesn't use, or usually the tight end or the angle route will always be open. Now, on the back end, you have the curl and the flat, and one of those routes should really always be open. Most of the time it's going to be your flat route. So step up, if they're both defended, then you can hit that, and usually it's about good for 5 yards, which is more than enough. It doesn't need to be more. So those are some good setups for that. Other than that, I mean, just kind of your standard curl flat setups. If you guys want to go back and watch my Washington ebook, I have good setups for this play. So you can do all these. You can custom stem A down however much you want. Use him as a good man beater. So I could like zig B. This would be a solid man setup. So you could, zig B. I could hitch B if it's zone. Komet's not going to get any separation just because it is AJ Terrell over there. So, but hopefully you have a good tight end matchup and he can get open on those types of routes. But yeah, I mean, other than that, this play is pretty much kind of just how I run it. Moving on, the next play we're going to talk about is going to be verticals on our left-hand side. And verticals is going to be pretty similar to the way we run verticals, again, out of trips tight end. So I would recommend trying both of those formations. You'll instantly kind of figure out. People usually either like bunch or bunch offset. It's similar to that. They run kind of the same way, but you always just kind of prefer one or the other. Like naturally, looks wise, you'll kind of prefer it. And this runs the same way as the other verticals, but the fade is just a little bit different. So out of trips tight end, the fade is a little bit more straight and has a little bit more kind of the tiniest buffer that makes it a fade on the release. This one is more straight outside breaking fade route. So Like obviously your verticals out of trips at end kind of looks like this, except the corner out's a little sharper. So we could just kind of recreate like all those setups. You could just flat RB and kind of run this stock. Now again, we are going to look for this route first, this fade. Always, sometimes people will accidentally press him and they won't expect it. You always want to try and get to the line, snap it if you see that. Now if he's backed off, it's a little bit tougher, but if you have a speed advantage, you of course still can get separation there. So that would be the first way. I mean, honestly, running this play stock or putting like RB on an angle route with the drag is not terrible. Here's cover 3, and this seam route should always be pretty open, especially against cover 3. Cover 2, not so much, but against cover 2, it should get open deep actually. So, I mean, I haven't really tried this one out. See if we get enough time. We probably won't, and we definitely don't, but I think you can see that he's open. I'm just going to QB spy everybody so that I get time to pass again. But yeah, solid setup would just be the angle RB. You have the drag, get the angle, and we're in cover 3, unfortunately. But you see how late play. It's not a bad play either. You would look like Y initially, maybe B over the top. Hopefully his user follows something else. But let's show it against cover 2 and how it's going to be a cover 2 beater. We're looking for Y deep. The mid read does follow Udunze, which is why he is good to actually keep on that route for this setup. But you get enough time, and I threw that way too late, but somehow we mossed him and actually still had enough time or space to get into the end zone. But I definitely threw that late, so I'm going to try it again here. But you would want to throw it here. This one does seem to be a little bit tighter than the trip side end one, but obviously it's still working well. And if you want, maybe, I guess, honestly, there's not much you could do to get that more open. So we talked about like this setup that you could run, the flat combo. Another thing that I will usually do stock is like post B, and then just put RB on like an in route, just solid routes. Again, you're looking for that seam, but this is a good concept to open up your running back out of the backfield because they don't really see that coming a lot. They're expecting angle, wheel, flat. A lot of these setups do have the player on the flat out of the motion Y post, so that's a concept that they don't really expect. You can kind of catch him off guard with it. Again, with Cole Kmet on the corner out here, I could put him on whatever depth I really want. It shouldn't particularly matter. And then as far as this post route gets open or is concerned, it would be good against man. So, like if they were kind of pressed or blitzing everybody, let's say they're blitzing heavy here, I would want to block my running back with A. Again, I could drag him, I could return him, I could zig him. He's not going to get open against AJ Terrell on anything here, but B on the post should help. And you see the separation we get there, pretty solid with Rome Odunze there. So that's just, an idea. Another setup that I've kind of ran before is we could go drag, angle, corner, like so. We could just leave A on the corner route and run it like this. So you have a few different, ideas. I like this setup because this corner out really gets open and it's pretty sneaky. We don't put B on the corner out often, so it does kind of work, especially if he's expecting heavy crosser drag with that receiver, and if he does man him up, then you can kind of catch him off guard. We could drag A and streak RB, get that streak in the middle of the field if I know it's zone, and you see how he's open. Instant shed it again, but we had people open there, of course, so just some ideas for that play. But overall, definitely a good quick snap play. Not as good as the trips tight end one because we just have worse stock routes, but 2 hot routes shouldn't take you that much time. And then the last play I wanted to talk about is Dagger. If you guys want to see a gameplay with this, I'd love to do that as well. So just drop it in the comments and I can definitely post a gameplay. But here's Dagger. Now Dagger, a lot worse than it kind of used to be. I like trying to block my running back because these crossers just take so much time to develop. You can try and scramble too, but of course our running back doesn't get the good kick block. But yeah, it can catch them off guard because you're not going to be crosser heavy like you were back in Madden 21 or whatever, So you can double team ID and try and mix it up that way. As far as back end goes, you could just drag Y. You will want A as a clear out. That was cover 3 on the first play. Let's run cover 2 here. And DeAndre Swift, not great in pass protection, but honestly, like, he doesn't really get as deep as I'd like either. So it is a little bit tricky. Of course, some solid ways to build around this play would just be like flat RB immediately. Give yourself, some quick read options. We kind of want to use Dagger not as like a 20 hot route setup play. We want to kind of use it as a get to the line and just snap the ball type of a play. So, you could like post B and then drag A. And as far as X goes, he's just not as good as he was in years past against like a cover 3 defense, unfortunately. That route used to be really good, but those deep in routes definitely not really, as good as they were. I like the post more, but honestly, I hate having the streak in the middle because it just makes it a lot worse. So, concept, like just kind of freestyling, we could post X, throw Y on an out route, try to open up this post a little bit, and then put A on like a little hitch route for spacing. Now, crosser's not going to get open against zone, but this opens up your backside post. Don't know how DJ Moore drops that on any planet, but, that's a good concept. You could flat Y. You can just kind of, again, run it like this. I could keep the drag if I want. I like this hitch route. You guys know that I like those routes, but could do this. I could put RB on an in route, but yeah, that's a really, really effective way to use the crosser to open up other routes, which is almost what I like using it more for than actually throwing the crosser. So again, I could zig A and, run it like this, and just some kind of creative thoughts to have. A is open there, RB is open, X is open, even really, really late throw there. So, yeah, let's show that against man. That would be a decent man setup, of course. It all depends. If I was facing press man like this, I'm just immediately going verticals, to be honest with you guys, but sometimes you want to mix it up, and like the crosser against man should be well. That's probably your best bet to actually using it against man. You can open up those underneath routes and then just kind of get those things open that way. Now, the last part of this is the run game. Now, the run game is nothing special. We don't have the RPO, which is another point to trip set in. So you're balancing motion Y post and that RPO. I think the RPO is very valuable as someone that doesn't really run the ball, but as someone that doesn't run the ball really, you don't necessarily need it. So this run will be kind of better than the traditional trip set in inside zone. And the reason is just because it is offset. So offset usually helps. Now, again, we could like try and open it up even more like by like untargeting this guy and just... Now it is going to depend on Romo Dunze picking up a block for us, but if he does, we have a lot of space to run. You can incorporate motion as well. I know I didn't do that in some of the other plays, but you could even do that more. And Joe Tooney is not blocking anybody. All right, dude. Again, I really wish there was an 0-1 trap because that's my favorite run out of like trips and those formations, even the bunch, the halfback duo. It's just so good, but we don't have that. So obviously you would run it if they go dollar, and having this run just kind of makes it difficult for them to really commit to running a dime 2-3-6 or a dollar, or even those nickel formate a 3-3 normal or whatever the case they're in. A spread out formation like a single mug or a double mug, kind of where the D-line is spread out. I would run the ball against those and try to get him out of those because those weird blitz setups with slot pressure, not great against run defense, as a run defense, so use those. But that's going to do it for the video. If you guys enjoyed it, that like, subscribe to the channel down below, and peace. I'm out of here.